Let me introduce myself. My name is Delia Rahmawati, with student number ONM 24008. From Class B, Introduction to Literature Course Project. Here I will discuss poetry. What is poetry? So, poetry is a literary work that uses beautiful and creative language to convey feelings, ideas, or experiences. Poetry functions to reveal or express the contents of a person's heart through beautiful sentences. Some people may have difficulty expressing their feelings through spoken words. Therefore, poetry is a means of expressing one's heart through writing. I took the poem Delia by Delia Rahmawati. Let's discuss it. We can see from the structure of the poem that it is short but concise in conveying the message. This means that the short but concise structure in this poem shows strength in simplicity. This short poem invites readers to absorb each word more deeply. The limited number of words actually adds depth to the message to be conveyed, namely prayer, which is a simple request but full of meaning. We also find some words that have a special meaning or symbolism, such as light. Light in this poem can be interpreted as spiritual enlightenment, a guidance or hope that comes from God. In the context of the search for life, light functions as a symbol of hope and answers that lead a person to inner peace and tranquility, as part of the search for life's purpose. Looking further, in this poem, is there a description of the inability of prayer to provide adequate answers to difficulties or changes in circumstances? Yes, this poem emphasizes humility and hope through prayer, but it can also be read as a critique of the inability of prayer to overcome the world's suffering. Prayer, even though it is a means of seeking peace, does not always change the social conditions or physical suffering that humans face. However, this poem highlights that prayer functions more as a way to achieve inner peace than as a means to change the outer world. Can the poem Delia be said to be a form of internal dialogue between an individual and himself? Meaning, is there an element of deep self-reflection, for example, where the author also asks himself about the meaning and purpose of his life, apart from that in the poem Delia, which is said as a prayer to God? Yes, this poem can be read as a form of internal dialogue. Apart from being a prayer to God, this poem describes self-discovery, recognition of limitations, and humility. The author seems to be talking to himself, contemplating his inner condition, worries, and hopes. This process shows that prayer is not just asking God, but is also a reflection on the meaning of one's life and dreams. Apart from that, the character Aku in this poem shows a feeling of helplessness or humility, which is clearly visible in the depiction of this character. However, this is not just weakness, but rather an awareness of human limitations before God. This humility in prayer shows inner closeness. The poem Delia places more emphasis on the spiritual aspect, emphasizing requests to God and the search for inner peace. However, this poem is also considered to contain criticism of the social conditions during Delia Rahmawati's time, which were full of uncertainty and injustice. Prayer here is not just a spiritual request, but can also be considered as a way to overcome life's uncertainties that arise due to social injustice. This poem also shows dependence through expressions of sincere hope and pleading. Humans in this poem cannot live without God's help. This is reflected in the simple lines of prayer. It can be concluded that there are several important meanings in poetry. 1. Concise and dense structure. The poem's concise and dense structure invites readers to reflect deeply on its meaning. It conveys messages in a direct and emotional manner, encouraging readers to explore each word as a reflection of broader significance. 2. The meaning of light as a metaphor. Light in the poem can be interpreted as a metaphor for spiritual illumination or practical guidance in life. It serves as a beacon of hope, guiding an individual out of inner darkness or life's challenges. 3. Internal dialogue and self-reflection. The poem can be seen as a form of internal dialogue, where the poet converses with themselves to contemplate life's meaning and spiritual purpose, in addition to addressing God in prayer. 4. The inability of prayer to alter circumstances. The poem may suggest that prayer cannot completely change external circumstances, but rather focuses on inner transformation. In this context, prayer becomes a means for self-reflection and acceptance. 5. Humility as the core of spirituality. Humility is evident through the awareness of human limitations before God. In this poem, humility is not a sign of weakness but a vital part of a profound spiritual journey. 6. Feelings of powerlessness and closeness to God. The I in the poem conveys a sense of powerlessness and at the same time closeness to God. This duality reflects an understanding that all things are beyond human control, and God is the ultimate source of dependence. 7. Dependence and surrender. The poem emphasizes humanity's reliance on God through sincere expressions of hope and supplication. Humility and surrender are central themes in the human relationship with God. In summary, the poem portrays a spiritual journey in which individuals confront their limitations and seek strength through prayer, self-reflection, and surrender to God. It is an expression of hope, dependence, and profound spiritual awareness.